I apologize in advance for any loud keyboard noises. I just wanted to get this video out so I can kind of revive my channel. Hello everyone, on the internet, and welcome back to another video on my channel. In this video we're going to be looking at the Raw JSON Text Format, which is a text format Minecraft uses in various places, including the tellraw command, the title command, sign text, as well as item names and entity names, among other things. But this video will just look at tellraw. JSON is structured on text objects, which can be as simple as a string, which is your message in quotes, or a compound, which is something in curly brackets. Now, in order to do just plain text, you just put text here, but for other content types, you put other things there. You can also put multiple text objects inside of square brackets, so you can have multiple text objects in the same message. So. Then, moving off of text, another content type is translate, which you can put a translation string into. For this, I have item.minecraft.stick, and so it will say stick, but that's just because I'm in the US English language. So if I switch to, say, French, and press the button again, we'll have the French name for stick. Up next is score. So this will display a player's score using scoreboard objectives. So there are parameters like the objective. I just named mine objective for simplicity. And then the name. You can have this as a player's username, like H2OFiremaster. A selector, like @p, nearest player. Or an asterisk, which will display each player's score to that player. Of course, that will not work on global text like signs. However, it will work on like chat messages or title commands. So, see, I have a score of 53 in the objective. However, if I increase that score, now it's at 85, press the button, 85. If I decrease it all the way down to like 30-something, 31, then it's at 31 now. The next thing is a selector. I just have this selector as all entities that are a type of creeper and a name of Bob. I just happen to have a creeper with the name of Bob right over here. Hi, Bob. And so if I go over to the selector, it will say Bob. Next up is a keybind, which you can set to a specific keybind. I have this at key.inventory, so it will say E, because my inventory key is E. If I change my inventory key to, say, I, then it will say I. Now it will say E again, because I reset it back to E. Then, next is NBT. This is probably the most complex one. You do NBT and then an NBT path. This just selects text 1, because that's the path for the top text of a sign. And then I have it set to copy from a block that's at the relative coordinates but one block up. Here's set to interpret to true. If I change this to false, then it will display display the JSON. However, if I set interpret to true, then it will interpret it as actual JSON. And so, display the text. Like so. Now we move on to formatting. This is where you get to more of the perks of the compound. For example, you can have text bold, and set bold to true. That is bold. Text doesn't have to be bold. I can set this to italic. As long as bold is true, it'll be bold. I just set it to bold for simplicity. And then italic. You can also do underlined. But yeah, italic is just italic, and underlined is just underlined. Then strike through. Then there's obfuscated. which isn't in most formatting things. It just randomly swaps characters out at high speeds, so it just looks like a jumbled mess. Next up is named colors. You can choose from these 16 named colors: black, dark blue, dark green, dark aqua, dark red, dark purple, gold, gray, dark gray, blue, green, aqua, red, light purple, yellow, and white. You can pause or slow down the video if you want to hear or see them better. Then you can also choose a hexadecimal color, which uses the regular hexadecimal color format. Like so. If you have a resource pack that uses a custom font, then you can specify that with the font parameter. However, I do not have a resource pack that has that custom font, and so it will display as just boxes, because that's what it defaults to. Next up is click events. Click events are events that trigger when you click it. Go figure, right? And so open URL will open a URL. Or to do that, you do click event, and then have the action as open URL, and then the value as the URL. Then there's suggest command, which will type something in your chat box. This will overwrite anything you already have in your chat box. As you see, the value is what it puts in your chat box. It's intended for commands, hence the name suggest command. So you do click event, set the action to suggest command, and the value to the thing you want to put in your chat. Then there's run command, which runs a command. If you don't have a slash, then it will simply just type the message in chat as you. And it will run it as you. And so if the player who clicks the message does not have permission to run said command, then the command will not run. And this is just done with the click event, set the action to run command, and the value to the command. Then lastly is copy to clipboard. Click event, set the action to copy to clipboard, and then the value to what you want to copy to clipboard. As you see, I click on the message, and then paste, and the message will paste. Next up is hover events, which is like click events, only it's when you hover over the message as opposed to when you click the message. So there's show text, which will show whatever text is in the contents field. Now this can use any other Raw JSON format besides click events or hover events. So if I set the color here to red, then the hover text will be red, because that just uses normal Raw JSON. And then there's show item, which will show an item. Here I have the actual show item and the contents with the ID as diamond sword, and the tag making it enchanted. Now, if you want to use quotes inside an already existing set of quotes, then you're going to have to put a backslash before them. It's called escaping, so that the game doesn't get confused. So here I needed to put quotes around the sharpness. However, this was already inside this set of quotes, so I had to put backslashes before them to escape them, so that the game doesn't get confused. But as you can see, this displays an item. Then we have show entity, which will show an entity. If you set the action to show entity, then the type to any valid entity type, so creeper, pig, villager, ender dragon if you want, and then set the ID to a valid UUID. Now for a valid UUID, you need 8 characters, then a hyphen, or dash, or minus symbol, whatever you want to call it. Then 4 more characters, another one. 4 more again, another one. 4 more, then finally 12. Now these are hexadecimal characters, so this is numbers 0 through 9, and letters A through F. And then you set the name. This is an optional field. You can set the name to a raw JSON text component. I just have this set text to Bob. So if I do this, then I have a row that says Bob, type creeper, and then the UUID, which just happens to be Bob's UUID. And then there's also some stuff you can do with Unicode. If you do \u and then 4 hexadecimal characters, then you can choose a Unicode letter. Here I have this set to \u, then 0041, which is the Unicode value for a capital A. Here, I had to do 2 Unicode values right next to each other, as this character has too high of a Unicode value to fit in one, and that will do the little trident emoji. And then, finally, you can do \n in order to type in a new line character. So here's line 1, \n, line 2. And so it'll do line 1, switch to a new line, and then do line 2. And it'll do them at the same time. But anyway, that's all for this video. If you liked it or found it informative, please consider leaving a like on it, and comment below on what command you want me to do a tutorial on next. And if you want to see more content like this, or you just want to make me happy, then please consider subscribing. That would be greatly appreciated. But that's all for now. Goodbye.